Hi, I'm Cindy with Garden Revelry, and today I want to show you how to refresh your seasonal plantings coming from summer to fall and how to underplant them with bulbs. Okay, so I'm going to start by clipping back all of these plants that have gone crazy, and so that I can see what I'm working with and assess the plant material, seeing if there's anything that I want to keep, knowing that I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of them because they are summer annuals. So I'm going to clip them back so that I have about maybe 2 or 3 inches of stem left coming up from the soil. And again, just to see what I'm working with. Like I have this Lonicera here that I think I'm gonna keep. It's beautiful. Okay, so now that I've clipped clipped all of these annuals, the seasonal annuals back, I can see the Lonicera that I think I'm going to keep, and the Phormium that needs some cleanup, but I'm going to keep that as well. The cypress is going to remain, and then this Heuchera, it needs some cleaning up, but I think I can keep that as well. So now I have to take the annuals that I don't want to keep out, and this planter, the soil's pretty compact because the plants have been in here since May, and I'm fortunate enough to not have irrigation. Well, not fortunate enough, but in this instance, fortunate enough. So I'm just gonna take, you could take a hori-hori knife or you could take the pruning saw, and I'm just gonna kind of dig around these root balls. And again, since there's no irrigation, I'm not worrying about cutting a line or anything. And then because I've left this like little 2 or 3 inch stem, I can literally just wiggle it out and voila. The soil's really dry. And then I try to kind of shake off as much soil as possible because I can reuse that soil, and soil's expensive. So, okay, and then that's compost. So that was a coleus. Here I've got another, this is was the osteo. And I've got this little stem that I left. It's a knob so that I can, again, just pull it out pretty easy. I'm keeping the Lonicera, so I'm not going to touch this. This was that just huge coleus. It was kind of a bully. And so I'm cutting it, being careful not to cut into the planter. And as big as that was, I can still see this root ball. But because I've left these, I can just kind of wiggle it, pull it out, shake off the soil. Okay, and then I've got a coleus back here that I do not want. It's not gonna make it. I'm just gonna lift out right away. Okay, so now I have the plants that I'm going to reuse. They're looking okay, and so I'm going to reuse them. But I'm going to lift these out, and I'm going to put them aside temporarily, except for the cypress, the center plant. I'm not sure about the Phormium. I think I might lift it out and kind of clean it up. So I'm going to start with this Heuchera because it's so big. And why am I doing this? Because I need to get into the soil and loosen, like I said, it was super compacted, so I need to loosen it up, the soil up, in order to get the bulbs in order to have the plant pollen material be able to have their roots, room for their roots to grow. So, jury's still out on this Heuchera. I have another obsidian if I need be. But for now, we're gonna say we're gonna use it. And I'm just cleaning it up, some of the dead stuff out. The nice thing is with these Heucheras, like the stems that are spent, they literally just pop away from the, break away from the plant. So, so that still needs some cleaning up, but we'll put that aside for now. Here's where begonia was. Mistake. I think this I can probably just wiggle out. And the reason I can do this is because these plants were all planted in May. Now, if these plants had been planted a year, 2 years ago, I would not be able to just kind of shake, like wiggle them and shake them out, because their root system would be much more intense. But because they've only been in the planter for a season, they're fairly easy to pop out. So that's my Lonicera. It's going to go back into the planter after. Get all this debris out. I am going to take this Phormium out. And again, I can do this because it's only been in here one season. And it was a small one. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna basically loosen up all of this soil, kind of reinvigorate it, create air pockets, break it up so it's not all compacted, so that I can put the bulbs in and my new fall plants. And again, you can do this with a hori-hori. I like using a root pruning saw because it's a little bit longer, so I can get in deeper with this. Oh, see how fluffy it's gotten? This is what we want. Just going around the edges, getting in there. And once I fluff it up, I realize I don't need as much soil because I'm going to be putting new plants in. Now I've got this trench basically that goes to the base of the root ball of the cypress, and I'm going to place my first layer of bulbs, which are going to be the narcissus, and that's because they are the biggest and the tallest. And I just have 5 of these here, so I'm going to just kind of put them in this semicircle, circle them around the base here. Okay, and then I'm just going to cover them with some soil, not much soil, and I'm going to do my next layer of bulbs, which are these tulips. So this is tulip, I don't really know how to pronounce this, Cyanida Amor. They get 18 inches tall. They are this kind of deep red color. And I'm gonna plant 7 of these. Well, no, I'm gonna plant, I gotta think about how I do this in the other. I'm gonna plant 3 groups of 3. So where the daffs are gonna be kind of in the semicircle, I think these guys are they're really dramatic. So I think they're gonna have a great impact if they're kind of in a grouping. So I'm gonna triangulate them and do 3 groups of 3. And I can literally just put this on the shoulder of that narcissus, of the cheerfulness. And again, they're about 2.5 times, I guess, the depth right now of the bulb itself, which is great. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add another layer of soil, not a lot. Just enough. Oh, that's a, and then I'm gonna do my second, or my third layer, but second tulip. So I'm only doing 6 of these because unfortunately when I opened the package, a lot of them were soft and moldy and I had to toss them. This is tulip palata, and it is kind of a, oh no, shoot. Go back. The Cyanida Amor is the pink, and it gets 18 inches tall, and the tulip palata is the red, and it's 14 inches tall. So we're doing the next layer. It's a little shorter, and so I'm gonna take it a little bit farther outside, but not much, and I'm gonna semicircle these like I did with the narcissus. So, you know, you can do either. You can group them together, you can semicircle them, you could just have one bunch coming up in the back if that's what you wanted for impact. It's really whatever you want to do as a designer. It's just having a plan in mind. So the idea here is with this like deep red and these light pink is that it's going to be in February, March, April, they'll start kind of, you know, popping their heads. And then in the spring, it'll be almost this like romantic theme a little bit. Okay, so now I have my bulbs in, or most of them. I've got a couple more, but those are smaller, so we're gonna do those after we do our fall plants. Okay, so we have our narcissus, our daffodils, and our tulips are underplanted, and you might think, wait, what's going to happen when they come up? First thing is they're actually incredibly smart, and they typically will just weave their ways up and through the gaps. And so because we have these plants that are planted next to each other, there's little spaces, as much as we've tried to push the soil around and compact everything as best we can, there's little spaces that those tulips will work their way through, and the narcissus. So they will be kind of coming up and through here in the spring, and I'm already excited about it. It's gonna be super fun. So, but I want to add muscari and ranunculus. I've never planted ranunculus before. This is a first, but I'm going to give it a go. So I've been soaking them overnight, which is what I'm told I need to do. There are these bulbs that are kind of spidery looking. They're just, but they have the most incredible, beautiful flowers. And so I'm going to see. I'm going to see how they work in containers in the spring, if they'll actually come up or not. Because I've planted here, they only have to be planted, double to maybe 2.5 times their size, so not real deep. I'm going to use this tool, the little dibby from Stoke & Garden, and I'm going to plug it in here because if I put I could also use my finger, but I can get a little clunky and sometimes break plants. So I'm gonna try the little dibby and see if that just creates a little hole for me to put the ranunculus in. I'm thinking I'm gonna want them near where the pansies are, because I'm thinking the pansies might look tired by the time by spring comes, or they might take a beating over the winter. I'm not sure. So this would be something that could come up and through and take the place of those if need be. And these are in these are ranunculus malva, which is just this kind of same purpley violet color, but just a little bit lighter hue. So here it is. I'm just dropping it in. We'll see. In this case, the finger might look a little bit better because it's a little more pliable. I don't want to break the bulb with the, and I have some extra water, so I'm just going to toss it in there. Okay. Also, I have muscari. So this is muscari. It's a light, kind of a light blue that I think it's called azurium blue, that I think is going to pick up the kind of blue tones of this, the pansy, and look really pretty against everything else that's going on in here. And they're going to be probably the first to come up. And I'm just going to tuck these. I'm going to place them first, but I'm going to kind of tuck like in a zigzag pattern. They only get about 6 to 8 inches tall. And so I'm just zigzagging them through. I'm not going to put any on the back side because you wouldn't see them. And again, so there's these little gaps between the planting, and I'm just literally sticking this in. To about 3 times. I'm doing it 3 times because sometimes, you know, squirrels or little varmints like to dig and make it harder for them. But it's nice because this tool actually is kind of helping me pinpoint where I can put them. And they're literally just they're really getting tucked right in between the crease of where the two, like, you know, the 4-inch pots or the quart pot and the 4-inch pot meets. Just pushing it down. Okay. Well, there we have it. So we have our fall planting. All of these plants, with the exception of the pansy. The pansy's is zone 6, so depending on how hard of a winter we get, they usually bounce back, but everything else is zone 5 and should make it through our winters here just fine. And we've underplanted with daffs and tulips and muscari and ranunculus. So in the spring, kind of starting in end of February, through June, we should have this explosion of new colors, new flowers, and I'm hoping it's gonna be spectacular. That's the plan anyways. So that is how you refresh a seasonal planter, transitioning from summer to fall. Okay, and after planting, of course, we always wanna water in and give them a good watering. You wanna be hitting the soil, not the plant material. Kind of sets everything into place. It also can show you if you have any gaps in your, in your soil. You haven't planted things well enough. Thank you for being here. Hopefully this took out a little bit of the overwhelm when it comes to refreshing your seasonal planters and inspires you to plant bulbs in your containers now for spring bloom later. If you're wanting more support or more in-depth learning on planting bulbs in your fall containers, check out our latest course in the Container Design School. The link's below. And if you enjoyed this video today, then hit like or subscribe or the notification bell so you can continue to learn and be inspired regarding container gardening.